Hello, Freight Masters. Welcome to another Monday. Well, just like the title of the video states, I have more free freight shipper leads for you. So, like we've mentioned in previous videos, always trying to think like 3 months ahead, right? We're getting ready to start entering the produce season. On top of that, like I know I bring up produce season because it always seems to be like the biggie, right? But try to think of like, okay, like Christmas time, there'd be Christmas trees that need to be shipped. Especially this year, I think with the way the kind of the housing market is, we probably won't see the volume of homes for sale or new homes, potentially being built. So what do people do in situations like this? Is typically what they'll do is they'll, remodel, they'll add on, maybe they need a new roof to be done. So I would start looking at like places that ship drywall, shingles, lumber, all of that kind of stuff, right? Thinking, 3 months out, all of that kind of stuff. Brackets, nails, everything, plumbing pipe, like the PVC, the plastic pipe, things like that. Even sometimes machinery, right? Things like that, like small backhoes, dozers, things like this. Always try to think 3 months out. So as we're approaching spring, right? Uh, we always want to try to be thinking about that and what's currently happening. Like I said, with the housing market, things like that. I know I always bring up produce, but it's not just produce, right? Think about lawnmowers, fertilizer, because people are going to be taking care of their lawns and things. Use your imagination, right? I've given enough examples with that. So aside from that, and kind of, I guess, in relation to that, one of the first leads that I'm going to share with you is the USDA inspection sites, right? So the USDA is oftentimes on site at like different meat, poultry, and egg processing facilities. So if you look at the map here in the US, you can see all of these places where the USDA is there for, obviously inspections. So we can kind of zoom in here a little bit. I apologize, their website is not, I thought I zoomed in on that. Oh, no, and we need, we need this one. There we go. Okay, and then we'll try to zoom in a little bit more, a little bit more. So we can kind of break this down. So like, let's just say you're currently moving refrigerated freight out of Oklahoma. Okay, since it's kind of seems to be in the middle of the screen, I'm just pulling this off. So then you can kind of hover over that. Loop Square Meat Company, Beggs, Oklahoma. Here's another one, Bar S Foods, right? We know that they do like bologna, hot dogs, things like that. I'm sure you've seen it, at your locals. Good Times Beef Jerky. Okay. And again, thinking about moving forward, 3 months out, chicken, beef, pork, all of that kind of stuff. Barbecues during the summertime, right? People going on vacation, cooking hot dogs over a bonfire, stuff like that. South Canadian meats. I mean, these places are just everywhere. Texas, NSC Beef Processing out of Baird. So focus on an area if you're currently focusing on, even if you don't have your first customer yet, but you're focusing on refrigerated freight, this is going to be like an invaluable resource for you, right? Because like I said, it's meat, poultry, eggs, all of that kind of stuff. I apologize if maybe you're a vegan, but not everybody is, right? A lot of meat eaters out there still. Here's another one, Circle S Groom Sausage, right? Brats, all of that kind of stuff. Even Colorado, Blue Ribbon Processing. Let's look, my home state here in Michigan, American Soy Products. Not one I would have thought about. Maybe they do plant-based meats or something. I honestly, I'm not sure. I've never seen them on there before. I don't know if it's relatively new. Munsell's Poultry Processing, you know, but you obviously you can grasp the volume, right? The extent of all of these processing facilities and stuff, and obviously that needs to get shipped, right? Which is where we come in. Whether you're a carrier, broker agent, you know. So yeah, this is the big one. Maybe I shouldn't have let off with this one, right? But this one is just I love this one because, like I said, there's just a vast amount, and some of these facilities are going to be larger than others, but some are huge. I'm sure they probably got like Tyson and stuff on here somewhere. Well, there's Americold, actually. That's a cold storage facility. Chirpy Barbecue, Kraft Heinz Food Company, right? So we all know about them. Prestige, like some of these companies are just massive. You are very welcome. And hey, and thank you again for watching. Hopefully you've subscribed and shared. But I honestly, not to get off track, but again, I'm your guys' biggest cheerleader, or at least I try to be. I want to see everybody succeed and thrive and do well, whether you're a broker, a dispatcher, or a carrier, truck driver, whatever your role is within the industry. I want to see you guys succeed, right? And again, if you guys have gotten your first customer as a result of me sharing some of these leads, or some of the cold calling tactics or something, which reminds me, again, not to get more off track, but in the next video that I'm going to be doing, I actually created some cold calling scripts and cold email scripts, because sometimes we can't get through over the phone. So because initially I was just going to do the cold calling script as like an example. Obviously, we've kind of touched before on my sort of more direct approach of how I go through a cold call, but we can't always close a sale on that first initial call, right? And I know I preach about follow-ups and things like that, but sometimes it's better to take a little bit of a softer approach, right? And not, be so direct, like, hey, give me your freight. So in the next video, like I said, and I may do it this week. If not, for sure, I will have it. We'll do it on our next scheduled Monday live. So, but yeah, I'm happy to share those with you guys when we get to that. Again, I kind of created this, it's all original for you guys to use or tweak to your specific needs and everything. So, but yeah, if while I'm doing this video or any of the other videos that I do going on, again, let me know if you got your first customer, or maybe you picked up, you're finding more success in acquiring customers. Maybe you got your first customer and you moved your first load. I would love to hear about it. Let me know about it there in the live chat, or comment later on if you don't. But yeah, I guess getting back to this, like I said, there is, and we can back this up, even all the way up into Maine. Some of these areas, this is another reason why I love this resource, is because sometimes you get up into some of these kind of outside areas, or areas where there's not traditionally a lot of freight that's coming out. We could look at the Dakotas, for instance. Let's As soon as the website catches up here. J&J Hazen Meats. Here's another one. Myers. Montana would be another one. Look at this, right all the way up near the border. Sweetgrass, Montana. Okay. Big Sky Processing out of Moore. The Payco Packers. So if you currently are building and working on your carrier relationships, and you've got drivers going up into these up into these areas, or maybe they're even home based out of there and they're having trouble finding freight out, or you get a driver that just gets stuck into one of these areas, focus on these areas. I mean, just because there's like a big conglomerate of shippers, in certain areas that we see, right? This would be like the Chicago area, for instance, Detroit, we see kind of a cell of shippers there. Don't forget about these other underlying areas. Idaho, Montana, the Dakotas, getting up over there into Maine, like we just showed. A lot of times, carriers get stuck, especially during the winter months. They want to get out. They want to maybe get, maybe they want to run to Georgia or something. And you might have, maybe this particular customer ships back up into Maine, right? You can put that dumbbell together for your drivers, and they could just run up to Maine and Georgia and back, or out of Florida, right? And we've done the produce market guide in previous videos. In fact, I think we did it on our Freight Shippers for 2023 video. It was either that one or the one before. I forget off the top of my head. So even though Florida doesn't typically produce a lot in the way of like manufacturing and things, if you notice here, just like with produce, because it is a hot spot for produce, is we're also seeing that there's meat shippers down there as well, right? FM Meat Products, Pride Enterprise. So, and that's the kind of stuff that'll ship year round. So again, start to think about that. Start thinking a little bit outside the box. Okay. Now, the next resource that I have for you guys, now this is going to be a little bit different, and this is going to be more for like your open deck, your drive-in type commodities and things. And this is Macrae's Blue Book. For those of you that maybe aren't familiar with it, just kind of grabbing off the, and they break it down alphabetical by type and stuff. But let's just say containers. Okay, so we'll click on containers, and what kind of containers do we want? Maybe you're an agent, or you have your own authority, and you're looking to maybe kind of get into some military freight, some DoD type freight or something. So right here they have military specification containers, for instance, and these might not be DoD or government direct type contracts, but they're shipping to a lot of times government facilities. I even have a customer that ships like lumber, plywood, things like that. And while it's not a direct like government shipper, these loads typically pay more because the government doesn't want to wait on their freight. So typically those loads pay more, which is going to become more attractive not only to you, but to your carriers as well. Okay, so let's just say containers, military specification. They give you like a quick little rundown here. We get the phone number. Obviously, they're a manufacturer, aluminum containers and pallets, stackable, lightweight, synthetic rubber, agricultural, military, food, aerospace. That's another good one. So that we can go ahead and click on their website here and look and see what we're looking at. Military and government containers, commercial containers, cut and sew manufacturing, all of this kind of stuff. And then again, when you're checking out these customers, don't forget to look at the contact page. Sometimes they have like an About Us page, and not always, but sometimes they actually have their email or direct phone number with extension to their logistics department, their transportation department. Sometimes they don't have a transportation department, right? We've talked about this before. I've got customers, you deal strictly with the sales department, and they just expect their broker to handle everything, right? Like we are their transportation department. So they say, hey, this is what we've got. And maybe they've got maybe the government said, hey, whatever's going on in the world or something, and they've got a whole round of project freight, and they've got 3 loads a day that have to go to, several different government facilities or military bases or something. Of course, with that, when you go into these places, oftentimes that has specific care requirements, multiple forms of ID, etc. But if you look on here, there's like G&W lumber. That might be like an actual lumber store, but sometimes these have like the little Google Maps, and you can actually find shippers right here in their little Google Maps area as well. But here's a direct email to the sales department. You might even just want to call and talk to somebody over in sales. Like we mentioned in previous videos, salesmen kind of typically love to talk, and maybe they got a new contract for, some of their containers, whether it be aerospace, military, whatever. Oh yeah, we're going to be shipping X amount, 3 truckloads a day or a week or whatever it is. And they can kind of help you out. And again, maybe they don't have a transportation department, and it's on their salespeople to, or their operations manager or something to kind of set up with brokers or fleet owners, things like that. Excuse me, just one moment here. So yeah. Again, going back over here. This just has so many resources available, and there's just all different kinds of stuff. Frozen food and ice cream containers, right? Maybe some of you are out there right now are shipping ice cream, so you might even have, be sending in. Maybe they'll load a reefer for some of this. Maybe it doesn't have to be a dry van. Some dry van freight will go on reefers, so maybe they're shipping there, and then the driver can, get his reefer to temp and haul a load of ice cream. You can just drop off and reload right there. Like I said, just got to kind of think outside the box. But yeah, everything's filters, hoses. Let's see, fasteners. What else are we looking for here? Actually. Do we have shingles on here, or or maybe even drywall? Huh. All right. Or like the metal studs, maybe the steel fabrication, stainless steel might be in there. Stainless steel bars, coils. Well, there's a lot of them on here. Pipe fittings, tubes. Tubes, a lot of times I like shipping tubes. I have traditionally, because a lot of times that stuff is just scrap and go. Not all of it, but some of it is. Sometimes it needs to be tarped. Just depends. So yeah, I mean, I hope you guys found all of these helpful. There's tools, right? There we were talking about like construction, remodeling, things like this. Here's cordless tools, right? So B&K, Grainger Industrial Supply, all these places. Wouldn't be surprised if we saw like DeWalt or Milwaukee or any of those on there as well. But yeah, there's a lot of them. There's Grainger out of Lake Forest, Illinois. Okay. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with Grainger, and they do all kinds of stuff. If you look on here, they ship out safety products, lighting and electrical, obviously tools, janitorial, all kinds of stuff, right? So yeah, hit some of these places up, make your list, get it ready. And again, in the next video, we'll be going over some scripts for cold calling and emailing, and hopefully that'll help you. Some of you that are just kind of jumping on right now, we've got 2 free shipper resources for you guys to look at. Some of it's refrigerated freight, and then this will be probably open deck and dry van type freight. And again, I would love to hear your success stories. Maybe it's your very first shipper that you got, you're moving your first load, whatever it is. I would love to hear about it. Or if you guys have any questions, I always try to open this up to a little bit of Q&A, even if it's not necessarily related to the topic of the video. But yeah, I'll leave it open for a minute, and if you guys have any questions, just let me know. And if I ever go too fast, sometimes I have a little too much coffee in the morning. So if I ever do go a little bit too fast, just tell me to slow down. Hey, how are you doing? Oh, and by the way, I know I've forgotten in some of my previous videos about leaving the links down below while we're live. I've actually organized that for everybody. Hopefully you find that beneficial. And if you ever do feel like supporting the group, we've actually gotten signed up with Buy Me a Coffee. It's just a simple, little thing. If you ever do feel like supporting the channel, you don't have to have an account or anything like that. And it's got multiple options. How often and when do you do your lives? Exact days? Yeah, so every Monday. And I am trying to narrow that down to a specific time on Mondays. But I also, if as time allows, I will do random videos throughout the week. But yeah, always on a Monday for sure. And what is your Facebook page? The Facebook group, there is a link in the description down below. It is called the Freight Brokers and Carriers Network Group. So just go ahead and type that in, and that's what the banner and everything looks like when you find it. So yeah, we would love to have you. Just make sure, please, when you do, that you answer all the questions in there, because that's sort of our way, because I might not remember or accidentally, deny your request if you don't answer them. Usually I leave it open for several days, and if people don't answer, it's just our way of trying to keep the group as spam free as possible. Obviously we don't want a lot of garbage posts going out there sign up for NFTs and crypto and a bunch of unrelated stuff. But we do have shippers in there sometimes, depending upon how the market is. We have had shippers post and request to work with specific equipment types out of certain areas. In fact, I think one of the more recent ones, there was one, they were looking for open deck carriers out of Texas. I'm trying to remember who it was. In fact, I think we've got 1 or 2 pending in the group right now. I'm just trying to gather a little bit more information from them before I kind of turn them loose for everybody to start soliciting and going after. So we do have shippers in the group. We have a lot of great carriers, a lot of great brokers. We've tried to limit the number of dispatch services that we allow in the group, because it seems like, looking at some of the other groups and stuff, they tend to get kind of overrun, and there's so many new people getting into dispatch services. This might be a topic for another video, but we actually did a poll in the group a while back, and more so for carriers than brokers. And they kind of overwhelmingly answered that they don't want any more dispatch service posts inside the group. There are a few that are kind of grandfathered in, but yeah, for the most part, we try to keep that at a minimum. But let's see. Ask me about HubSpot. If I import my contacts or companies, will HubSpot start sending them emails, or if I do a static list, I can send emails when I want to. Yeah, so HubSpot, to my knowledge, does not solicit your contacts or anything. It's just exactly what it is. It's a CRM, but you can create like templates for like your email marketing campaigns if that's what you're primarily doing, or maybe you have a prospect that you're having a really hard time with getting on the phone. They're just not answering. And you've made several attempts, but you do have their email, so you want to send out that cold email. You can actually create, kind of like in MailChimp, if you're familiar with them, only HubSpot's free, right? And there's no branding that goes along with that for the free version of HubSpot. So you don't have that outside third-party marketing logo on there. But yeah, you could set up templates and things like that. Hopefully I answered your question. How often should I do my follow-ups? Which is better, email or calling? I know people have success with email and with the cold calling. Me personally, I like cold calling, but I know it can be a bit intimidating, and especially you hearing no, it can kind of it can wear on you, right? But this is why we need to be like a duck and just not even worry about it. Just focus on that next call. As far as doing follow-ups, I would follow up every day. If you've made contact with a prospect and they said, hey, yeah, great, send me over your paperwork, right? So you send over your packet with your W-9 and a copy of your insurance and authority and all that fun stuff, and you haven't got their credit application back, I would follow up with them every single day. If you reached out to them, like say at 8 o'clock this morning, and they said, great, send it over to us, we'll get it back. You might even want to follow up with them that evening, 3, 4 o'clock. Because oftentimes the transportation manager is not the one, your point of contact isn't the one that fills out those credit applications. They typically send that over to accounting. Well, accounting is, like I mentioned before, they're busy with, their accounts payable, their accounts receivable, payroll, yada, yada, yada. So you are not a priority on their list, right? But if you keep, if you're diligent with your follow-ups, they will, kind of light a fire under them to hurry up and get that back to you, or at least some sort of a reference sheet so that you can run credit on them. Some of them have one readily available and they just automatically reply with it. It just kind of depends. Still learning CRM and everything, slow progress. I know it can be a little bit daunting, but just follow through with it. And you know what? Maybe I should do. I'm going to make a note of that, and maybe we'll do like a complete HubSpot setup. Like I'll create a whole new account and everything, and we'll kind of go through the workings of that. And sort of set that up. That might be helpful. Cold call live and working on pitches. Yeah, again, and I've got all these ideas because I know you guys asked me about doing some live cold calling. Again, I'm not a huge techie guy, so some of the stuff that I have to do for the videos, like I don't know how to do certain parts of it, so I rely on outside help. And Devin is one of those that has a little bit more knowledge in regards to helping me kind of integrate all of that so that I'm not just sitting here on speaker and you guys can hardly hear, right? So that it runs through the software. But unfortunately, he's been out sick. So wish him well. And I'm wishing him a speedy recovery. I think he's just got the flu or something, but irregardless, yeah. So let's put a little bit of a delay on that. But yeah, I will go over for sure, like I said, either later this week or by Monday at the very latest when we do our next one, our next scheduled video. I will be providing you guys with those email and cold calling scripts. And again, you can tweak them to your interest, and I can email them to you after the fact. Okay, yeah, the HubSpot video. Maybe I'll work on that this week. Thank you. I will pass that on to Devin. Thank you so much. But yeah, so a lot of great things. I'm loving the questions. and ideas for, you know, future videos and things. I'm trying to set everything up so that like we've got like step 1, step 2, and stuff like that. But I know that you guys are always constantly wanting shipper leads and things like that. So I try to do more of those types of videos for you and give you guys some more like directories and things like that to, you know, pull prospect leads from. So yeah. So yeah, I will make a note of that. And so we've got a couple of videos. I'm really going to try, now that we have several ideas kind of going on here. I will really try to do another video this week, and I'll try to give everybody a heads up. I'll probably leave something in the community tab on the channel and give you guys, excuse me, a little bit more of a heads up on when that's going to happen. Very helpful with the cold leads. You're very welcome. Like I said, I want to be your guys' biggest cheerleader. I want to hear your success stories and hear about, you know, you got your first customer. You don't have to tell us who your new customer is, right? I would never ask you guys to do that, but, you know, just say, hey, I got 2 new customers this week or something, or I got my very first one, or I moved my first load, or, you know, whatever it is. Like I said, I would love to celebrate that with you. So yeah, again, I hope you guys found these useful. Like I said, macraysbluebook.com, and then the USDA. I actually probably should have left these in links down below. I don't think I did. I did forget to do that, so I apologize. I dropped the ball. But I do have links for everything else down there if you guys need it. And then I'll comment after this video with the links for these 2 sites for you guys, so that way you don't have to go back and scroll back through the video. But okay, well, I guess if nothing else, I'm going to get my happy self back to work, and we'll call this a day. As always, be kind to one another. And I look forward to talking to you guys all again next time. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye now.